It's just another game one to
another
highlight.
Game. Yes.
One week it could be a really small game.
Yeah.
It could be a bigger game. Mine's like another high-profile game. It
Yes.
almost made the biggest games of the week. But it's Alabama versus FSU, and these aren't necessarily meant to be full like breakdowns.
Mm-mm.
But Thomas Castellanos, and apparently it is Lanos, so I apologize for in our preview being like it's Janos because the double L makes the sound.
Wow.
But apparently it's Castellanos.
Cool.
Has been talking trash before this game, basically saying Alabama, like Nick Saban's not here to save you. And as someone that has Alabama winning the national title, I'm not a Bama fan, but I feel that disrespect a little bit. Their players have said it feels disrespectful. And so I'm looking for Alabama to come out and make a statement as my national title pick in game one and just beat the brakes off this team. It's a 13.5-point spread in Alabama's favor. So the books also don't think it's going to be a crazy close game. But I think Alabama's going to cover the spread. I think we're going to see good stuff from Ty Simpson, Ryan Williams, stuff like that. And then their crazy talented defense is just going to go to work. The one concern is Alabama's struggle last year was rushing quarterbacks, and that's Thomas Castellanos' bread and butter. And Gus Malzahn likes to scheme that up as well. So if they've not fixed that, it could get a little hairy, but I'm going to trust that they've fixed that in the offseason and are ready to roll in this week one matchup. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
I think this is a big game for both. Even if Florida State doesn't win this game, if they can compete in this game, I think that's a big step towards kind of regaining their respect in college football after a really, really awful year last year, going 2-10. And I do think they're going to be better. They are going to be better this year than they were last year. I think that this game could be a good test of how much better. If you can compete against a top 10 team and lose, at least you can say, that we competed against a very talented team. Alabama has, I think, 10 players in the PFF top 200.
Yeah.
It is a very talented roster, just top to bottom. The guys they brought back is insane. So Florida State, I don't think is expected to win, but there's still a lot of variance in your takeaways from this game depending on how much they lose by. If you lose by 30, fans are going to start to be like, are we looking at another 3-4 win season? If you lose by 10, then fans they're going to show up the next week and be like, we're good, right?
Sure.
It's even one of those games where, as a ranker every week in our top 25, Florida State could lose this game close, and I rank them going into next week because you're so high, if you're high enough on Alabama, you've got them win the championship. If Florida State looks really good, you could be like, well, this is clearly a top 25 team. They just played the number one team.
The only way I rank Florida State is if they beat Bama. JP?
So Florida State offensive coordinator is now Gus Malzahn. And Gus Malzahn has a nice history of beating Alabama. And while
Sure.
it's not a Nick Saban Alabama team, I think it helps Florida State a ton. They're not going to fear Alabama in any way, especially offensively. I just don't think they will. 70% chance of rain, and it's supposed to be like hard thunderstorm-like rain.
That's why Alabama's playing with soapy balls.
And yes, that
In
is why they're
practice.
playing with soapy balls, trying to make it as slippery as possible, as Kalen DeBoer was quoted in saying earlier today. So for me, my two notes for each team is in Florida State's case, can they make it messy? And in Alabama's case, can they control the mess? I think with Gus Malzahn, he loves a good running quarterback. And so Florida State's going to win this game. Tommy Castellanos,
Castellanos,
as
we just learned.
is going to have to be really productive in the ground game. He's going to have to beat these Alabama defenders with it raining. Like maybe it makes it easier, makes it harder to tackle him. And so I think there's a chance there for Florida State. And then offensively, like with Ty Simpson, they're not going to have Jam Miller, their best running back, until SEC play. And so are they going to be able to be productive on the ground against Florida State in this heavy rain type environment that we're expecting at Doak Campbell Stadium? I don't know, and that there's concern there. And so, like, I think with the rain, it takes a guy like Ryan Williams immediately out of the picture. I don't think he just becomes that kind of weapon. And so I got Florida State covering. I think they'll cover. I don't think they'll win. But I think 13.5, given the weather, is too many points. I think this is a 10-point game, a 7-point game. For me, because of that, I don't know if I'm necessarily ranking Florida State if it's a 10-point game just because of the weather. So I think that's just another element to add to that conversation, which is a really interesting conversation for the cinnamon rolls. That was said purposefully.
Yeah, I figured it was. I just
You
threw
said
me
it
for
too
a loop.
confidently.
Yeah.
You said it very confidently, so I knew it was a joke.
If it is an absolute monsoon, I maybe would change my mind, but I still think that talent in Alabama's trenches should be able to go to work
Yeah.
in this game. So, but yeah, that's kind of the other one I'm highlighting.
I'll
just
be
because
interested to see. I just wanted to say real quick
Yeah, you're
before I mean, you didn't pick your over-under. I haven't yet. But if this is like a 21-10 game or a 21-13 game, do all the people who were like, the Big 12 clearly sucks because there were a lot of fumbles and sloppy football, like, I can't. If that happens, I will be taking some victory laps on all the people on Twitter who were
No one
calling-
ever backtracks on Twitter, so
Unfortunate.
I doubt
That
it.
is the unfortunate reality, but I'll still be calling them out and taking a little bit of.
Sure.
I'll take some joy from that. I'll take Florida State to cover as well. Yeah.
I mean, I let off saying I have Alabama covering, and
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that. They're my national title team, so I'm going to ride or die here at this point.